right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to One Objective Live on a special show tonight. We're on YouTube. We ain't done this. This is where we started at. This is where our live show originated from, was YouTube, and then we transitioned over towards Facebook, which we're still in the process of doing dual stream, which we got to take a weekend and kind of figure that out and get it all right. But right now we are doing this on YouTube tonight because we've hit over 4,000 subscribers. Actually, we're at 4,100 now. So I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to our YouTube channel. It's awesome to see that we've made it this far, starting this thing up probably, 4 years ago now. And here in the last, I'm going to say year, I don't know, Chris, it's been a year, 2 years maybe, we've really started doing the big push on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would say about 2 years. 2 years. So, but, just to see where it's at right now is phenomenal. I would really like to say, I want to thank all our followers, all our subscribers. It's people that's viewed our videos, some good, some bad comments. It all helps us build to make a better YouTube channel. So I just want to thank everybody for that. But for everybody that's joining in, guys, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank our sponsors. We got a great group of companies that support us and support everything that we do, and we do everything we can to support them, guys. So, guys, if you can just go out, we'll have the links. I don't think we have them in here right now. We were just trying to set everything up, but we'll have. I'll go through and edit it. We'll have the links to all our sponsors in the bottom. Bonafide Kayaks, Yak Attack, Missile Baits, Falcon Rods, Power Pole, Baino Power, Accucoil, Native Watercraft. Man, I think that's it. I think I nailed it all right there. But guys, I want to thank all of them sponsors. They like I say, they help us out with our Christmas giveaways. They help us out with any kind of little contest. Oh, RBT Custom Crankbaits, which we was not able to do a giveaway tonight with that. But Ron's out of town. I'm going to blame that all on me because I should have asked him earlier this week about it, and just it blew my mind here. So I was actually trying to build a show tonight to have Fat Cat Newton on. So we're working with him. We're talking with him. We're going to be getting him on here in the coming weeks. We're going to be talking about his new opportunity coming up with the national. I think it's called the National Professional Fishing League, that he's going to be doing their live stream. That's a whole new professional series that's coming out. It's they're really building this. The guy from Cash and Rods, him and a few other guys are backing this thing. So I'm really proud of Fat Cat Newton. Really excited for him to be able to go and do this. He's emceed several other events. He's done a couple other charity events he's emceed for, and if you ever get the chance to talk to him, he's crazy funny on YouTube and his Facebook and all his social media platforms. But when you get the chance to sit down and talk to this guy, he's a super nice guy. He really is. He's just down to earth, great guy. Loves fishing, loves bass fishing, and loves making people laugh. So, really great guy. And but like I say, we're working to get him in the next couple weeks. So, but tonight we're going to be the guest. Me and Chris are going to be the guest tonight. So we're going to be mainly talking about transitional bass. Like I said in the post I did for Instagram and Facebook, it's the days are getting shorter. We're getting cooler nights. It's not. I mean, we're in the first week of September, but before you know it, it's going to be October, and we're going to be in that good, awesome fall bite. And I'm really looking forward to it. Chris, me and you last year in October had a pretty good afternoon going out fishing.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to doing some more of that. But I really want to get some pre-fishing in. We got the KBF Super Tournament that's coming to Smith Mountain Lake at the end of September here. Really excited about that. Me and James talked about this at the beginning of the year. We were not going to do any tournaments. We were going to solely stay focused on the business this year, growing our brand a little bit, growing our company. And I'm going to tell you, it has ate at us. I mean, literally ate at us, seeing all these people fishing tournaments, having, good success. I can't say that we didn't pick a better year with the coronavirus going on, because a lot of events got shut down getting postponed, different dates. So I can't say we didn't pick we couldn't have picked a better year to do that, but I'm jonesing now. I'm jonesing to get on there and catch some fish. So
jonesing.
yeah. So, but Chris, we can see right there. We're building up your little your office area over there now.
We got a new monitor here.
Yeah, I mean we're getting you stacked up, new technology over there. It's a lot easier for you. You don't have to go back and forth different screens.
There was a steering wheel up here a while ago, but I took it down.
Yeah. Well, that's we getting into some Twitch streaming with iRacing. And Chris, you do iRacing. You just started playing a flight simulator game.
Yeah.
I know this is off topic with bass fishing, but we're also gamers too. We're gamers from way back. So, but Chris, I know you just went on vacation. Yeah, I went down to Tennessee. You was able to go down onto Dragon's Tail. You made it big
in a car.
Yeah, in a car. You went on a street bike.
Yeah.
That's
and after driving, I don't think I'd ever take a street bike.
Really? Is it that crazy?
It's rough. The road is rough. It needs to be repaved.
I got you. Probably people were just burning it up all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you made it on, what was it, Killboys?
Yeah, well, I made it on 3 different ones. There's 3 guys down there doing it now.
Oh, really?
129 photos and one other.
So you made it on there. We should have took your picture and put it up there.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. But that was pretty cool that you got the opportunity to go there and do that. Something we wanted to do when we used to ride street bikes was go down there and ride Dragon's Tail. But like you say, if it's that bad, it's probably a good thing. Did you get to see the tree that's tore with all the plastic on it? Did you go that far?
That's at the store. We didn't really stop at the store. We kind of drove by it.
I got you. I always want to go see that. They got a whole tree there with motorcycle plastic and motorcycle parts all put up on there and all that. So, but
Illuminating Nathan is waiting on an invoice. I don't know who he is on Facebook.
Oh yeah. I got to get back with him. Sorry, bud. Was on the road all day Friday. Wasn't able to get it to you, and then Saturday has kind of been my family time trying to get things straight. So, you will see that first thing in the morning on that. So, but yeah, on the weekends is my family time and been going. So I try to, when we get there on the weekends time, I try to make sure I kind of push the phone away and the best I can anyways with business. So, but anyways, we are going to be talking about transitional bass, talking about it's that time where when I look back at a lot of my records coming to fishing and all that stuff, September's been the toughest time for me. It's been the biggest struggle. But about 3 years ago, I'm going to say, I was able to finally kind of start figuring out a little something. I was able to start figuring out, okay, these fish are making that move back in these creeks. I'm looking for what I started doing was saying, okay, when the fish are spawning, they're moving back in these creeks, when they're starting to do their feeding process and they're moving back in these creeks and they're trying to set up somewhere to spawn, it's kind of the same deal with them moving back in the fall. But then this time they're not looking at spawning, they're just looking at feeding. So they're looking at spots where, brush piles in the backs of creeks, where shad are going to kind of congregate and hold tight, creek, ditches, secondary points, stuff like that. Stuff that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb is what I always say is where I'm going to start at. And then I'll kind of move into the channel swings and stuff like that. And that's something that I've always, once I figured that out, and I don't know why it took me so long, but once I figured out, okay, I'm catching these fish on the same spots that I was catching them early spring when they were moving back into spawn. And half the time, when September was hitting, I was staying on the main channel. I was fishing bluffs. I was fishing points. Not saying that doesn't still work, because it still does. But I was having to cover a lot more water than I was if I would just kind of hunker down in the creek and fish it on out, and then start getting your bites, figuring out where you're getting. If you're getting mid creek to the back of the creek, and then I could run that into different creeks. And before you knew it, I had a milk run that I made at Smith Mountain Lake that was probably about 7 or 8 different creeks that I ran. And me and you, we fished Indian all the time.
Yeah.
We fished Betty and Becky's. We fished and that was our milk runs. I'd pick a big creek, and then they had creeks within those creeks or in those pockets. So that was really big for me. And then just kind of chasing that shad. They're whether you got 2 things going on. You got crawfish that are gearing to move back down in the mud or under the rocks or whatever they do during that time, and then you also got the shad back here. So you got two different baits to choose, but you got to figure out which one they're feeding on the most of. So, but that's what I try to do. I always, for me, fall fishing is or transitional fishing is junk fishing for me, whether it be shaky head, drop shot, Nico rig, crankbaits, deep diving, middle diving, square bill. I got all these on the deck of the boat. Now moving into the kayak, it's getting kind of harder to go and junk fish as much as I'd like to, with like 14, 15 rods on the front deck. So now I got to kind of move everything down to about 7 or 8 rods. I know some guy, Jason, I don't know how many rods that dude carries. Jason Hensley was carrying.
Bunch.
Yeah, he carries, I don't know, 13 rods or something like that. I'd hate to flip my boat over because if all them falcons went to the bottom of the lake, that'd be a lot of money gone.
It'd be a bad day.
It'd be a real bad day. So, but yeah, so that's some of the things that I'm looking for when it comes to finding these transitional fish. And now when it comes to like certain spots that I'm like certain baits that I'm looking for to throw in these areas, like say when I get around brush piles, man, it's like laydowns. I'm Texas rigging, jigging, but before I even get to that, I'm throwing a square bill crankbait around it, or I'm throwing a medium diving crankbait around it, or I'm throwing a spinnerbait around it, or I'm throwing a buzzbait. Depending on the time of the day, I'm throwing a buzzbait around it. It's so many things to do at this time of the year to find them. Because for a lot of people, if you look at tournaments, it's about late. You'll notice that a lot of the guys that did really good during the summer, they start falling off. Or a lot of the guys that did really good in early spring, but didn't do good in the summer, they'll start picking back up again in the fall. So I always say that's when you can start. If you can really know your competition around your lake and know these guys and know how they fish and when they do good, some guys just catch them all year long, but if you can, some guys have got weaknesses and so if you can start picking that out, figuring out like, man, these guys, oh man, here they are catching them again. They must be moving back into that kind of that spring thing. That's stuff I look at. Facebook, Instagram, when you're friends with a lot of these people, it's a powerful tool. It really is. It's a really good tool. So, Chris, we got anything coming in? We got any guys talking? Just people in there chit chatting, or
hello?
How many people we got on there right now? Is it kind of low? I don't know.
17.
Oh, that ain't too bad. I was thinking it might be a little low today with Facebook.
Lee Friedland wants to know when they start to transition. Will it be around the same time all up the East Coast? Seems like that we are always behind the lower eastern states' activity. Sorry if it's a dumb question.
No.
Not a dumb question at all.
No questions are dumb. And you gotta. It's not the same all the way up to the East Coast. So like in Virginia, like say September, we're starting to transition pretty good, but down in Georgia, granted, I think they'll start the transition, but you got a couple of things going for you. You got water temperature, you got moon phases, and you got the days. So say down south, down in Georgia, for instance, you're getting as much time as we are, daylight time, really.
Yeah.
But your temperatures are a lot hotter. Some of your lakes are a lot shallower, depending on which lakes you fish to. But a lot of your lakes are shallower. And then, your grass and, all that stuff. So for us being a rocky reservoir, that's how deep is it? Like 200 some foot in one spot down by the dam?
195, something like that.
Yeah. So right there at the bridge is 150 foot, I think, or something like that. Or is it 100? Like yeah. So they got so far they can go. And I think that's, it's hard to say. So you kind of just got to base it off where you're at, your climate, and water temperature. For me, I know when I was fishing night tournaments in August, at the end of August, I was starting to run back in the middle of the creeks in the last couple of years, in the middle of the creeks and the back of the creeks, catching some pigs back there at nighttime. So I think in August, at least around here, they're already starting that transition, but September it's really hard. You find some spots it's full of bait fish and they're gorging themselves, so it makes it a little tougher for me. We always had a lot of pros come on and say, man, if you can find a bait fish, you're gonna find the bass, and that's true. But if it's so much bait fish, I'm going to suck it up in that cove. I'm going to tell you that right now. If there's bait fish everywhere, I never do good.
Oh wow.
I need to find little pods of bait fish for me to do a lot better.
Yeah.
So
Mo swim bait slinger says the fall is like the spring. Yay! The swim bait bite is coming back.
yeah, and there is guys that those swim baits in the fall. I mean, there's guys that actually throw them all year long. And for some of the guys that fish rivers, they throw them all year long. You know, for like smallmouth and stuff like that. So, moving, into the fall, like say it is. I mean, they're chasing bait fish, they're chasing shad. So you match the hatch with your swim bait, and what you can't go wrong with Key Tech, or
if you can find them.
Yeah, if you can find what you used down in Bass Pro Shops. You can't even find. Did they have anything on the shelf down there at Bass Pro Shops?
Well, they had them, but they had swim baits, just not those.
Yeah, they had probably all Bass Pro Shop brands and all that stuff, didn't they?
No, they had Zoom. They had the other brands. I can't think of them.
Yeah, they had all that stuff, but they didn't
Yeah.
have Key Tech. Go figure.
It weren't very many empty shelves down there, to be honest with you. They had stocked up on quite a few things.
Well, kind of change of pace. We was talking about transitional
they had
fish.
plenty of spider lures.
Did they have a lot of those? You should have bought you one of them. The whole COVID thing, man, really messed up a lot of stuff and getting stuff in from China, and because a lot of these baits are made in China.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's bad on us that we resulted to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get political or nothing like that on the show, but it's bad on us that we resulted to that. And now look where we're at. But a lot of it's just trying to get it through customs right now, and it's just such a backup. But
Yeah.
it is tough, man. Like I was looking for James was doing it a while back, and I was looking for weights. You couldn't find lead bullet weights, tungsten bullet weights, or any of that stuff for the longest time. Like at Walmart, or some people were having pictures from Bass Pro Shops, with his shelves empty, and it was pretty bad.
And Chad says he's gonna try out the new swim bait he won from us tomorrow.
Oh yeah. If you catch a big fish, take a picture, man.
Yeah. And Lee says Green Top is stocked. Was there yesterday.
Yes, and that's what James was telling me. Green Top had everything.
Yeah.
Like they were stocked to the brim. Like places that didn't have it, Green Top had it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go in there and Green Top's got pretty much anything and everything you want in there.
They got things that the Bass Pro Shops don't have.
Yeah, like the big swim baits. Like I mean, some of them $100 swim baits is in there. You know what I mean?
And they have certain lures that oddball lures that people use that they don't really carry a lot of at other stores.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about Green Top was like their graph selection. If they picked that up, like their fish finder selection, I think it would be pretty.
They had the one I wanted, but they had a display of it. They just didn't have it at the time.
Yeah.
When I bought mine.
Yeah.
Mo says he had a strong swim bait bite, 8-inch mega bass mag draft in March and April. Biggest bass was 9.5, Southwest Missouri.
Oh wow, 9.5.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a nice
Randall
fish. There.
says found loads of bait fish yesterday, way up in the creeks. Caught 7, ranging 12 to 16 inches.
Where are you from? Who was that? Randall.
Randall Harris.
Oh yeah, so I think that's North Carolina.
And Lee says yes, full shells.
Yeah. It's so I mean he's down there. If that's the same Randall I'm thinking about, you figure North Carolina, and they're already in the backs of the creeks. It's a lot of them already making that transition, and you think it ain't gonna be long that I hit my elbow.
Oh, watch that table.
It ain't gonna be long that it's gonna be a bigger rush of fish back in there.
Yeah. And Mo says he had 109.75 limit in 2 days in our Club March monthly tournament.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good limit.
Yeah.
Those big fish really help like that though. You get a big fish like that. We got something else coming in.
Choked asking if we in Florida enjoy. We're in Virginia. I don't know if he's talking to us or not, but
Oh yeah. We're in Virginia. We're in.
I'm not sure if he's talking. If they were talking to us or
I got you.
or not. I don't.
Yeah, we're in we're around Bedford area. So we're about 35 minutes from Smith Mountain Lake, Smith Mountain Lake.
Smith Mountain Lake.
And when I do stuff like it, I shoot a video and talk about being on Smith Mountain Lake, people are always like, "Is this Smith Lake?" And I think was it Alabama or which I can't remember. I can't remember what state it was. It's in Alabama. They have a lot of bass events and stuff like that, and everybody gets that confused, man. And it's I've talked to other pros and talk about fishing Smith Lake, and they're always like, "Oh yeah, man, I fish that all the time. It's loaded with spots or this." I'm like, "No."
David says he'll be holding down the fort at Bob's in Manita. Friday and Saturday.
Oh man,
Come see him.
he took on that job. I hear you, man. Bob was talking to me about it. I'm like, I just didn't have time. Like, I didn't have time for it. Bob was going on vacation, much needed vacation. Bob's with the Creek Outfitters, and you know, all these kayaking shops have just been bombarded this year with kayaks. You know, nobody can keep any boats in stock. We tried it. We were actually, you know, we were a Crescent dealer, and stuff went south with that with them. I don't know if they got too many dealers on or whatever. I don't know what happened. So they dropped a lot of other people that were dealers. And then we're a bona fide dealer and a couple other brands, but even just getting boats right now is like, for us, because we're low on totem pole. I mean, compared to these other companies that have been doing it forever. Yeah. So that's why we've just decided to kind of push back away from that and just solely work on the mounts, which I don't want to get off topic with because I wanted to say something earlier about it, but our brand new Titan mount is out.
All right.
So I don't have it. We put it on the kayak, took pictures and all that, but James is just making some tweaks with it before we push them out in production. We're going to be shipping them the 16th of this month. He's just making a few little odd and end tweaks on some things. So I'm getting my boat rigged up for the super tournament, for the KBF super tournament. So looking at getting all that set up, I'm going to be having the XI3 on the front of that, and we'll be doing some videos here soon with our new mount. So you can go on oneobjectivebf.com. We got bow mounts for the 127, the 107, the Slayer Max, and now the Titan 12. Looking and talking with a couple people to be able to get a 10 and a 13. So we'll be getting those mounts in the process. And we get a lot of questions about the RS. We are working on the RS. That's a little more difficult to make it to where it's drillless and being strong at the same time and trying to keep it in that price point where it just ain't plumb out ridiculous. So we are in the works with the RS mount. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But we got any other questions coming in, Chris? Or?
Robert wants to know if you make a mount for the Sun Dolphin.
No, we don't. We ain't got any mounts for the Sun Dolphin. Mainly just because we get a lot of questions about different boat brands and all that stuff, and love it, and it gives us ideas to make more stuff. You know what I mean? Because we build off of what our customers ask for. Yeah. So just getting the boats is our biggest problem. You know what I mean? I mean, like, we're good friends with Bob and Christina and Brian and all them from Journey and Bob's with Creek Outfitters. And we can get boats, but the problem is they don't have the boats to get what we need to make, you know. So just being able to get boats, and, you know, we got people, hey, man, I'll bring my boat up there, and that's nice. We really do appreciate it. But if people live far away, it's really tough to make that happen.
Lee says, trying to find my new kayak was like hunting a unicorn. Hopefully, we're taking delivery next week.
Yeah. Is that Lee?
Lee Friedland.
Oh, Lee Friedland. Okay, yeah. It's it's tough, man. I know when we become a Crescent dealer, as soon as they put our name on the website, it was on. I bet you I was getting 5-10 phone calls, you know, before lunchtime, on, hey man, can I get this boat? And hey, can you put me on a list? And before you know it, you got a list like this of calls that you got to make if you do get boats in, you know, which all that got. I mean, we had a bunch of boats on order, but, you know, just couldn't get them, and just called everybody. Was like, hey, can't do it. So it's really tough to get boats right now. I feel bad for anybody that's wanting to get into kayaking now or wanting to upgrade now, because it's really tough to find boats. I mean, even being on pro staff with Bonafide and Native and all that, if I call down there and say, hey, I want to get a team boat right now, it's going to be a couple months. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's tough to get boats. I mean, we can go down there and pick up a few things to test out and get back to them, but for us to get a boat to have and use and rig out, it's really tough. So, do we have any other questions that come in, Chris? Just kind of chit-chatting amongst themselves right now.
Chit-chatting and whatnot.
But yeah, so we got that mount coming out. We're working on some other mounts, some other accessory odd and end things, but we're going to be doing a series of videos here soon that I want everybody to kind of, you know, it's going to be kayak related. It's not going to be us out there fishing, but it's going to be how we do business and how our business works. And you could actually see we're not working out of a huge shop. You know what I mean? It's just me and James, and then we get the kids in there and they help out, packaging and doing odd and end things, helping us out, sorting out bolts and all that stuff. So but we wanted to do this video to kind of do a series of from start to finish, to when that thing is cut on the machine, to the deburring process, to the building process, to the shipping process. I mean, it's a crazy day that we have when you go in first thing in the morning and you're like, all right, we got all these orders from last night. Start doing that. James is building mounts while I'm sitting here trying to get shipping stuff done and taking care of, customer calls or emails or messages and all that stuff. So we got a very busy life, and sometimes I wonder if we got to hire somebody, but we're at that point right now where we don't want to just yet. So maybe in the future, maybe in the next year or two, it will get to that point. But we're also working on a couple other video series that we're doing right now. I just shot several of them, and I'm hoping to have one up Tuesday that will get up. And this series is going to be on finesse fishing. It's going to be the Nico rig. It's going to be on the drop shot. It's going to be wacky rig, and then the flick shake head, doing all that stuff. Also, I did one video on spy bait fishing and my two top favorite spy baits. So, looking at, we're going to be doing those. We're going to be releasing those on Tuesdays, so stay tuned on that. They're going to be short videos. They're not real long. It's just kind of going over how we rig certain baits, the top baits we like to use. Like a lot of my shaky head videos, my worm videos that I've been doing, it's my top 5 baits that I like to throw. So we're going to be doing some of that, kind of teaching people some techniques. Like I say, I always tell people in the videos, this is how I do it. It might not work best for you that way, or you got a different way, or maybe even a better way. We'd love to hear about it. So, but yeah, so that's what we're working into is doing more series videos. We've just been so busy with business that we haven't been able to get back to what we love doing, which is fishing, shooting video, and trying to help people learn this great sport of bass fishing, and giving them, the reason why we started the show is giving them more knowledge and easier accessible knowledge, just through hard knock life there with with things we've learned, trial and error. So but Chris, we got anything else coming in right now? Is it kind of quiet?
Kind of quiet right now.
Kind of quiet. How many people we got on there right now?
17.
17, so we still got the same 17 people on there.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm sorry I haven't drank a lot of water. My throat is dry as all. I don't know what's going on tonight. But bear with me for a second. But let's kind of get back to the transitional thing, the transitional fish. We kind of got off of that a little bit. I'm going to give out my top 5 baits when it comes to the transitional time. And this is when the water temperature's in the high to mid 70s. We're getting some nights where it could possibly start getting down to the low 70s by mid-September, end of September, something like that. But most time in the morning, I'm running to the creeks, and I'm throwing a buzz bait. That's going to be my go-to over some brush piles. And then once that, or I'm going to start throwing some crankbaits around too. For me, when I see the fall coming on top of the water when I first blast off, that's crankbait fishing and buzzbait fishing for me. I love that time of the year. So that's going to be my top two. We got a question, Chris?
Yeah, Lee's wanting to know what the deal with the new state teams he sees posted on Facebook from different states.
State teams. I have no idea. Oh, is he talking about for the Bass the qualifying thing for the Bass Nation Kayak Series? That's what I'm wondering, because it's a lot of people have been posting it, but it's showing different states, but that's just actually where that tournament was held at, was in that state. And that's just how they qualify through the BASS Kayak Bass Nation Series. If that's what he's talking about. I'm not real sure. I know Barry Davis was sharing, some of the guys that qualified, Casey Reed, all them guys that qualified were sharing that and where they qualified through certain states. But
yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yep, that's what that is. So if you look, that's each, I think they had, what is it, like 5 or 6 tournaments so far that they've done, and whatever state that tournament was in, that's just how it's labeled, like that. So
John Lewis wants to know, how do lakes become affected?
affected in transitional.
I believe so.
So you're gonna have turnover, but you're not gonna have that just yet. I think you're gonna have turnover when you start getting to the 50-degree mark. It depends on your lake. A lot of it depends on your lake because of the depth of the lake and all that. But that's when like say your shad are moving towards the back. You're gonna have your thermocline. That'll affect you there. That's when all the fish start pulling up shallow. So yeah, it just depends on your lake and how it affects your lake. But like say when you start, for us, I want to say it was like lower 60s, upper 50s is when you start getting that where the lake flips, and it'll get muddy. It gets kind of real dingy and all that, and that right there is when I go to my spinnerbait. I love throwing a spinnerbait then, and I'll throw some of my, depending on how muddy it gets, but I throw a spinnerbait and I'll get into like the Texas rig and jigging and stuff like that. That's when it gets really good. We got another question.
Do you fish VKT?
VKT, no. The Virginia Kayak Tournament, that's what they're talking about? Because there's the NVKT, I think, or something like that. It's one guy, Steve Bishop, I was talking to. He fishes. It's from like Northern Virginia or more Eastern Virginia. Yeah. And then you got Casey Reed Series, which is a Virginia Kayak Tournament Series. We fished that last year and the year before, and that was always fun. I had a good time. I had a real good time fishing. I actually wanted to get Chris involved in it this year, and it just
yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Casey does a really good job running them, and I wish we could have fished more of them this year. But like I say, everything just got so I just want to say blah. It was like so busy with work, and then COVID, and it was just no time to fish any events. But like I say, I'll probably fish a few more of Casey's events next year I'm assuming he'll still probably do them. And I look forward to fishing those. So, the Tidewater area, is that what he's talking about? Yeah, that's the ones that Steve Bishop and
he says VKT is in southeast Virginia, like Hampton Roads.
Oh yeah. No, I have not fished those. James and him's out that area. He has thought about fishing a couple of those events too. Yeah, they were on the. I think they were the ones that was on the Blackwater this weekend. If I'd have known that, I'd have loved to go on up there and fish that. That would have been a fun event, and we fished that. That's actually where we do a lot of our testing at, on the Blackwater. Yeah. If it's not up, which it's been up a lot, so we'll go in and put in some of the Suffolk lakes and test it out there as well. We need to get you down there, man. You will crap when you see some of these fisheries.
It's a huge lake down there in the middle of southeastern Virginia. It's just a big round lake.
I'm not real sure.
You can see it from a map.
Yeah, I probably would.
See if I can find it.
Yeah. It's
down there where James, near where he lives. I didn't know.
There's a bunch of the Suffolk lakes down there that are just on point. I mean, everything looks phenomenal down there. I mean, there's cypress trees. There's
Lake Drummond.
Lake Drummond. No, I've never been on that one.
Okay. It's down there below Suffolk in the Great Dismal Swamp.
Yeah. Oh, look, he just put it up there, Lake Drummond.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is I have never, like I said, I've never been on that.
He says no fish.
No fish. I see Lake Prince there. That is the lake, like where we got our shots at for the not the Titan, but the Slayer and the Bonafide and all that. That's what we was at. They're doing all the testing there was on Lake Prince. I never had the opportunity to really fish that except one time with James years ago when he had another boat, and that lake looks really phenomenal. I don't know how well it is, but what do you say? 2 foot deep?
Oh, he said it's only 2 foot deep. Okay. I've just seen it on maps. I didn't realize it was that shallow.
That's crazy.
I know.
but you go down there and you'll fish some of these lakes and some spots look deep as all, and it's not.
It's very acidic.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it. I didn't know. I've always seen it. It on maps and Google Earth. I always wondered,
When we go towards like Hampton and all that, you go by a lot of nice looking bodies of water, but you can't even get to some of them. Like some of them look like they're resident. Like you got to own a house in it, residency or something. Yeah. I don't know, but there's some nice looking water down that way. Yeah. But something I like to talk about. So we went on vacation the other weekend. So when you left and went on vacation, me and James, we took the family out. We hit a milestone with the business. So we was like, you know what, our family has sacrificed a lot with us being gone and working so much that we wanted to give back to them because they've helped out a lot with it and you know, not even really get no pay out of it, you know? So we went down to Virginia Beach and went down towards, man, I can't think of the daggone part of the beach we was on. But it looks like Nag's Head. I can't think of the name of the area. But you go down, it looks like you could drive all the way down to Nag's Head, but you can't. You actually have to take the long way around to get to Nag's Head. You know what I mean? Like the road won't take you all the way down there. You'll run into water. But it's crazy because you got the beach on this side, and then you got Back Bay on this side, which is brackish water. And it's miles, man, that you go before you even get to where the water dumps in to Back Bay area. Well, that, you know, when I fished the Federation and the bass boat stuff, we had guys that coming from Back Bay, and it's talking about you could go to a bush and catch a flounder or a red on one side of the bush and catch a largemouth on the other side. I mean, it all looks phenomenal down there. Yeah. And that's where I want to go fishing. I'd love to go down there and be able to catch a flounder or catch a red or catch a bass. You know what I mean? Catch everything. But that's what we need. I mean, it's awesome looking area. Everything looks fishy. You know, I mean, I don't even know where to start to even throw anything, you know, down there. But it's real shallow water. And it's going to be tidal. So, you know, you don't know if you're going to get in some mucks somewhere and be sitting there for hours. And I don't know, you know. But it all looks.
Chad says Sandbridge.
Yes. That's where it is. Sandbridge.
Sandbridge.
Yeah. Man, this guy, he's on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, Sandbridge is not in the beach. Like, there wasn't that many people down there.
Lisa's Back Bay is good.
Yeah, that's where I want. I want to get on there. When we fished the Federation, we had the Federation Nation Championship. I mean, not championship. It was they were taking two guys. Well, the Fall Classic. Yeah. And that was actually the first event that I actually cashed a check in a big event, you know. But we went down there, and our club got grouped with the guys from Back Bay. So, you know, they don't. You got some guys that are co-anglers with us, you know, and you know, I'm always like, hey, because they're allowed to get.
Chad's 2 miles from there, he says.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to hook up with him to go down there and catch some daggone.
Let me know anytime.
Yeah, I'd love to go down there and catch some fish down there, man. So the guys from Back Bay came in, and they're like fishing. We pull up, and they're like, I was like, man, the water's a little stained today, and they're like, man, really, this is stained? Like, this looks really clear to me, you know.
Fishing Bass Brazil says hello from Brazil.
From Brazil. Holy moly.
Yeah.
We're really reaching out there today. We worldwide today.
International.
We worldwide. But no, those guys come from Back Bay, and I'm like, hey, guys, where do you want to fish? What looks good to you? He's like, man, I didn't bring nothing to fish with 10 foot of water. You know, like.
Yeah, they're used to fishing
2 to 3 foot of water. You know what I mean? So I'm down there fishing a shaky head, and we're up on the bank a little bit because you're sitting in 50 foot of water, and you got a cast, and you're in 3 foot of water.
And where were you at?
At Smith Mountain.
They didn't realize that Smith Mountain was a deep lake?
Apparently not. Some of the guys I think was on it. You know, they knew their stuff. But the one guy, I'm like, hey man, where do you want to fish at? He was like, I don't know. I was like, dude, pick something because you're allowed to run the boat for so long, or fish some of your spots. And last day I didn't have my limit. The first day I had my limit, and I think you only caught 1 or 2 fish. And I was culling. And the second day, I already caught my limit first thing in the morning. It's pouring down rain. And I'm like, dude, pick something. Like, I feel bad that he's not catching.
Just point at something.
Yeah, just go. Well, actually, when he pointed at a bank, that's one of the banks that I love to fish now. Because when he pointed at that bank, we went over and started catching some good-sized fish on that one. So that's what kind of catapulted me up to be able to cash a little bit of a check in that event. So
and Chad says, put in at Bob's Fish Camp and run back east. Heck of a time.
Bob's Fish Camp. I have to look that one up. We stopped at some, man, I don't know where it's a kayak rental, and then it's like a little store right beside it. The woman wasn't very nice when we went up in there. Oh. But, it is what it is down there. And anyways, we walked to the kayak rental area and just asked them if we could walk on the dock and walk out towards where the water was. Yeah. And, man, that was...
So I've never been down there. Is the water clear? Is it dark or murky?
I mean, when you get in Back Bay area, it's going to be like it's not going to be, it's like the ocean. I mean, it's kind of like the ocean color. You know what I mean? It's not super, super clear. And I'm sure it gets kind of mucky because once the tide comes in and out and all that stuff, and you got grass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, compared to
I
what?
think he choked it.
What's that?
He said, "Good luck on objective."
Oh, thank you. Is that the one from Brazil?
No, Brazil. The one from Brazil is Fishing Bass Brazil.
Oh, okay. Um, but yeah. So thanks, Chad. Thanks for watching tonight. I don't know if you're gonna get off or not. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight.
John says, "Bob's fishing hole."
Bob's fishing hole.
Ryan says, "Water stained."
Yeah, I mean it looks good.
I've never fished a swamp or anything.
Yeah, I mean
So
it's not fully. It's not like swamp. It's not like the tannin water or whatever they call it, like tea color water, like Blackwater River is.
It ain't like down in Florida.
No. It's not that real
Okay.
dark water. But I mean it's stained.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like you get a Roanoke River, you get a little bit of stained water. It's kind of like that's what it reminds me of. But it's just shallow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking like you ain't gonna run a propel drive up in that dude. I can tell you that. At least not the native right now, because it's gonna get caught up in grass. What it looks like. I mean, some spots you might be all right, but I mean, you run an actuated mount on there, you'd probably be good.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of like running like Potomac River, fishing that kind of stuff up there. I mean, that's what it looks like. So, but I mean, where you went down in Tennessee, is there many places down there?
Oh yeah,
Like?
there's all kinds of lakes and rivers down there.
Yeah.
You got all the TVA lakes down there. You got the Pigeon River that runs right through Pigeon Forge.
Oh yeah. We need to go down. We need to take a trip down there and go do some fishing.
We was right next to Lake Douglas,
Oh yeah.
the French Broad River.
Yeah, it's some
And
nice
you
looking.
go up to the tail of the Dragon. There's a bunch of lakes up there. They were deep as crap, but
Yeah,
they're there.
that's smallmouth country though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you see. What's the lake that's right there on the border of Virginia and
Holston.
Holston? Yeah. Now that one right there, they say is full of big smallmouth.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a deep lake. You got to.
I know that one lake you can see from the Dragon. The dam looks like it's probably twice as high as Smith Mountain.
Really?
But you're on the back side of it, but you can just look and tell the water level's here, and then you can see off into the distance how far it drops off.
And
So I
what
don't
lake
know
was
how-
that?
I don't know what it's called.
Oh, gotcha. That's
It's the one you see online that has that overlook, and you can see
Oh,
the back
yeah.
side of that dam right there.
yeah. When people post pictures,
That lake area.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name of it is.
yeah. I mean, it's some good looking fisheries down there in Tennessee. I mean, that's one where I'd love to take a trip to.
Yeah.
Oh, we got any other questions coming in or?
Fishing Bass Brazil says, I'm getting some one objective products to install on my H compass this next year. My goal is to run a power pole and a torpedo on it. You guys have a great product.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I mean, the power pole torpedo setup is pretty killer. I mean, it's now the 1103 where it's a heavier motor. It's still a little tough to pull that up, but it's really not all that difficult though.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people putting pulley systems on there trying to pull their motors up and all that. And I mean, I don't see where it's that difficult with our mount, but it's a heavier motor.
Yeah.
But
And John Lewis wants to know what kind of spinners.
Spinnerbaits.
And trailer or no trailer.
I always at least have a grub on, and I cannot think of the name of the grub. But I always buy them. I either buy them at Pro's Choice. Walmart really don't even have them no more, but they're about a 3-inch grub. Well, I don't know. Was that 4-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch grub?
We ain't got a tape measure. Yeah, we got one right here.
Yeah. Measure that. What's that? What's that? That's about 3-4 inches.
Yeah.
It's about 3-4. But it's like a glimmer blue color. That's what I use in the lake a lot, and I'll put it on a white spinnerbait with black. It's white with black skirt, and I throw 4-blade spinnerbait a lot.
Yeah.
God, I hate to even say that. A lot of people hate booyah spinnerbaits, but I'm gonna tell you what, and you've been a witness to it. I have caught a lot of big fish on a 4-blade spinnerbait.
Curly tail?
Yeah, curly tail grub. And I don't know what
I didn't even look for them while I was down at Bass Pro Shops. Didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Because I got like 5
there for a while, it was hard to find them.
Yeah.
You can find the 3.
5 of them. I don't hardly ever use them.
Well, I was going through all my tackle the other day because I haven't been through my tackle in forever.
Yeah.
If I go and took the boat, I was taking a drop shot rod and drop shot stuff in Texas, Carolina. But other than that, I didn't have all my other stuff out. So I was going through. I had like 4 or 5 of them booyah 4-blades still in the package. I was like, God dang. 'Cause I
still got a couple of mine in the packet.
Yeah. So I love the 4-blades. Out of all the baits that's out there, that's a 4-blade spinnerbait, and you don't see a lot of people talk about them much. it's War Eagle or it's
Terminator,
or some people talk about Strike King, and there's several other brands out there that are really, really good spinnerbaits. And I ain't taking nothing from them, but he's talking about Colorado blade. No, all of mine are willow leaf. The only time I go to Colorado is two situations: really muddy or cold water. Really cold water, because you can take a Colorado blade out there and turn it real easy.
Yeah.
And it gets a lot of action. So Colorado blade is cold water or muddy water, or both. I hate both though. Hate both together. I hate cold muddy water. But yeah, I stick with a 4-blade. I do go down to a 2-blade sometimes if I'm trying to burn something.
If you're gonna come up with a 5-blade.
I don't know, or a 6.
Or a 6.
We're getting the Alabama rig status.
You like them, ridiculous looking lures that you see on those infomercials.
Yeah.
200 blades spinnerbait.
Yeah. The spinnerbait would be like that. It'd be like that tall.
Yeah. John wants to know: do you tie a straight leader to the main, or do you use a swivel?
I don't ever. Now it depends on what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about Carolina rig, I use a swivel. I'll have my line, and then depending on what I want my bait to do, if I go from fluoro to mono on my leader. Now, when I'm going through finesse, which I talked about in one of these videos that I'm about to put out, I tie FG knot with had to braid the Seaguar Smackdown braid to InvisiX 8-pound fluoro. Now, if I'm just Texas rigging, it's fluorocarbon. I don't use braid with leader. If I'm jig fishing, it's just fluorocarbon. If I'm fishing some crazy stuff like grass, like thick grass, I might go to braid, but I don't get into that situation much. So pretty much all the rest of my stuff is fluorocarbon. Spinnerbaits, fluorocarbon, until I get to topwater baits when I go to all monofilament. When I go to plugs, like Czar Spooks, poppers, especially poppers and Czar Spooks, if you don't throw mono, you're going to get frustrated very quickly with how the action of that bait is, because your line's sinking and your bait's trying to do.
It's trying to die.
It's trying to do it. It does not work good. So I mainly stay with mono on that. So, but yeah, fluorocarbon pretty much on everything. Now when I throw jerk baits, I'll change it up depending on what I want, how it to fall. If I want a deep diving jerk bait, I'll go down to 10-pound test fluorocarbon. I have gone down to 8-pound test fluorocarbon. But man, you better make sure your drag is like super loose, because sometimes they'll smack that jerk bait. It'll snap that line. You know what I mean? When the way they hit it, it's crazy aggressive. So most time the lowest I go is 10-pound fluorocarbon on that. Anyways, I had to get some water there. But yeah, like I said, we got that coming up. I'm getting really excited. I'm getting antsy about this the KBF event coming up, Super Tournament. The crazy thing it's going to be about this event, and if anybody's listening, is, for one, if it's still really warm, you got a lot of homeschooling going on, so people are staying on vacation a lot longer. I say vacation, but if it's a lot of homeschooling going on, if it's still warm or any of that stuff, the boat traffic is going to be ridiculous. I mean, we know what it's like early in spring or the fall.
Out there Friday.
Yeah. And
it's a holiday weekend too. So.
That's true. And what they had, the Trump parade. Then they do a big Trump parade. Everybody's doing like a Trump parade.
They did it again?
I don't know.
They already done one.
Did they? I know they were supposed to do some really big one.
Maybe they did another one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So anyways, you got that stuff going on. But in September, it's hit and miss. If it's going to be a good, cool weekend, I don't know. You still got them crazy people out there that's riding wakeboards when it's like.
They'll ride them in February. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They'll get a big old wetsuit on and they'll get to rocking,
Yeah.
But you'll have your jet skiers and all that stuff. In the morning, it's going to be your key time. And then once it starts, if you're fishing anything main channel, man, it's going to be a struggle. But the problem with Smith Mountain Lake is, if you look at it, there's a lot of boat ramps on that lake, but a lot of them ain't public.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of them are private ramps, community ramps, or they used to be a public ramp, and now they're owned by some marina, and they don't want nobody putting it in their boat ramp.
Messing with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the big one there years ago was Camper's Paradise and Waterwheel. Waterwheel's gone. They got a nice boat ramp over there, but you got to own a boat slip over there to put in there.
Yeah.
So you got State Park. You got, what's
Oak Grove.
Oak Grove. You got what's the one down there? Saunders. What do they call it now?
Parkway Marina.
Parkway Marina. And then you get over in Blackwater. You got Pinhook and all that stuff. And it was Mormons.
Yeah.
You got all those.
Got your crazy horses and your all them.
What's the one up the Roanoke River too, way up there? Bayview?
Bayrock.
Bayrock. You got up there. So,
but you got the public ramp right there. So
yeah, right across the bridge there is where that's at. So you got a lot of ramps, but the problem is like they're so spread out on Smith Mountain Lake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if you want to fish down to the lower end of the lake, well, what I always tell people is like, let's say you put in at Saunders. Well, if you got 20 other kayaks that put in, I mean, not Saunders, but put in at State Park. If you got 20 other kayaks that put in State Park, how far do you got to go to get away from everybody? You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be on top of one another.
Yeah.
Because that lake is so big that if you want to go hit points, you're going to go. And if you got a creek, you don't have, that's the thing. That's what kills it. You don't have a lot of boat ramps in the backs of creeks. So if you want to put in the back of a creek somewhere.
Unless you're at Oak Grove.
But the problem
technically the public is in the back.
That is
not too far. 2 creeks really.
Yeah, and that could sustain. But see, you got 2-day event, so it could sustain 10 kayakers maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But look how big that creek is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, me and you fished it, and it took us forever to get to one side and get back to the other side. You know what I mean? So I mean. It's going to be an odd setup for a lot of people. I think it's going to be a transitional time for some with the bass too, and then trying to figure that lake out. It can be a tough lake. We fished that lake for many years.
Kayak, do you have to put in a public?
Yeah, it's got to be a public.
So you can't put in a private ramp or nothing like that.
No, it's supposed to be a public accessible ramp. Now, now when it comes to, and I don't understand this rule, so I don't want nobody taking this as it's legit or not, because I don't know. And I've always questioned it. Let's say you rent a house on Smith Mountain Lake. Can you put in there? Or do you have to load your boat up and go up to a ramp somewhere and put in?
Well, if it's not a public,
That's true. It's not really a
15
public.
other people can't put in there, so.
Yeah.
Leases on a Torpedo 1103 and just beat them there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just hammer down.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping I have my new XI3 in.
Torpedo on the rear, motor guide on the front.
There's been some talk about that. I ain't gonna lie. There's been some talk about that setup, but I don't know if it's gonna happen for that event. But I ain't saying it ain't gonna happen for next year.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, me and James, we got some big ideas for next year, fishing and traveling and doing some bigger events. So I can't say I know the Native, Slayer, and the Titan are capable of doing that. So. I don't know, man.
Torpedo outboard?
Yeah, it'd be like our outboard. What's the big one they got? You can't
That's
use
what I'm talking about, the one that goes on sailboats.
Yeah, it was a $9,000 motor or whatever. Yeah, with the big, huge lithium that goes in the back. No, that would be.
Yeah, that would.
I think it's a 1 horsepower.
Lisa's think I'm joking. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, that's. I see the kayak fishing tournament scene turning into this. Pretty soon you're going to have the kayak. I mean, well, you got the Apex out there already. So imagine when the people start.
Well, it's just a matter of time for that company made that little jet kayak. I don't know who makes it. The one you see on video.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they come out with a fishing kayak.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to see people dumping. People dump a lot of money in kayaks now. I mean, we do. Yeah. We've done it. People look at us and like, man, you're an idiot. Why didn't you buy a boat? Well, it's a different thing. You know what I mean? I don't have insurance. Which I could, I guess. I could get insurance on it. But I don't have – I got property tax, but it's not like through the roof.
Yeah.
I might pay $10.
You're not paying for a boat and a trailer.
Yeah. And my property tax on my Skeeter, which was a 2000 what was that boat? A 2007 or 6 or something like that, was like $480-some a year.
Yeah.
So now I got $10. You know what I mean? Even if I did buy insurance.
Get you a P.O. box in Florida to take care of that.
I know. You bought a camper.
Yeah.
That's what everybody does with motorhomes and campers.
Yeah, it's registered to Florida. Buy you a P.O. box.
Yeah.
Or Montana.
Yeah, well, they not have state. Does Indiana not have it too? Because I've seen a lot of our trucks when I worked for another company.
I don't know what it is with trucks.
They're all registered in Indiana.
I know Montana does. I don't think they do income property tax either. That's why you see a lot of motorhomes registered in Montana.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's like the dual graphs. You're starting to see more and more people doing that in kayaks.
Did you get the picture of that one I sent you?
I think so.
Yeah.
The guy, is it 3 on it? Was that the one that had 3 on it?
No, it was like a 15-inch screen.
Maybe I did. I don't know if I did or not.
It was a big hummingbird.
I might have got it.
We ought to put this on the kayak.
Yeah, I might have got it. I might have. I can't remember. But there's guys. I mean, we've talked about it, but I'm saying that's going to happen. But that's a lot of money. But I mean, you get 2 9-inch graphs, man. Well, if you're getting into spot lock stuff, or you want one for GPS, or you want one for your live scope and one for whatever, you know what I mean?
The Garmin doesn't split screen.
You can, but I mean, that's not cool when you got too big. You got too big stacked. No, I ain't worried about it. Be cool. I'm just making a joke, but like you see the guy, like for instance in Bassmasters, you're seeing now more and more guys putting 3 graphs on the front of their boat.
Yeah, it's like they got computer monitors sitting on their console.
And what's happening now is technology is so good on so many different brands. Some of them are running the live scope on one screen. Some of them will have the Lowrance down scan.
Yeah.
And then some of them will have the Humminbird 360 on it. I'm like, man, you got 3 different graphs on. How do you not get any interference with that? That's what's mind blowing to me.
Lee says I got it. I guess he means the 1103.
Oh yeah. Who is that? Lee? What's his last name?
Lee Hypes.
Yeah, Lee. Yeah, he's got the 1103.
Okay. And then David says I see the future tournaments having paddle only and others going wide open.
I do think there's eventually going to be a split. Yeah. I see it coming. I'm not saying no one's told me anything or any of that stuff, but you're getting guys that are getting aggravated because they get into this, and I get it. They get into this to be a cheaper recreational sport. Yeah. But they want to fish tournaments as well. Well, it's hard to compete sometimes with guys, which I've seen guys that paddle still win. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you don't, it don't matter. You can have all that stuff on your boat. If you don't know how to use an ounce of it,
it's like going to a bass boat tournament with a John boat and beating everybody with the $80,000 bass boats.
Dude, we had guys when we fished a pinhook. I don't know if it was me and you that fished it, or me and Alan, or somebody fished one of the pinhook Friday nighters, and it was older guys, 2 older guys that came in. This Ranger was like a freaking 1970 Ranger. Immaculate. I mean, it looked...
Yeah, I remember. That was me and you.
Yeah.
It was an older guy. It was like a 79 Ranger, but it looked like it was brand new.
Yeah. And they caught him. You know what I mean? So, like, it don't matter. It don't matter how fast your boat is. It don't matter all the technology going. If you don't know how to use it, or if you don't even know how to understand fish, none of that stuff matters anyways. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just like me and James. We could have all this stuff on our boat, but when it all comes down to it and you don't catch no fish at the end of the day, you can't blame it on the technology you got. You blame it on yourself because you didn't know how to use it, or you didn't have you didn't know how to make the changes to stay on the fish. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the live scope, man, like say, that's game changer. But I haven't seen where it's paid off and won me any tournaments or caught me bigger fish than I would have never caught. The problem with live scope for me is I get caught up in it, and then all of a sudden I'm like sight fishing and
watching your lure.
Yeah, you're watching and you're like, oh man, that dude just come up and struck at it.
Lee says he knows who that is with the bass boat.
Really?
I believe who he's talking about. The bass boat.
Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful looking boat.
Yeah, it was like a 14, 15 foot boat.
Ranger. Yeah, it's like a tan color.
Yeah, they weren't real big back then.
No.
But yeah, looks like it was brand new. You must keep it in the garage, or he's had it redone or something.
Yeah. I mean, the motor is an old motor on it. Looked nice. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I do eventually see a splitter. Them having to do something where it's your pro series is going to be your all for nothing, rig it out boat like you see these elite guys that got every bell and whistle on there, and then you're gonna have your guys that are just like your paddle guys, you know what I mean, going out paddling, and I'd like to see that, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, I think it would be a cool way to expand the sport. You know what I mean? You're going to have a lot of guys that's going to want to do that want to keep it pure, you know, and what kayak fishing really, if you look at what we're doing right now, kayak fishing is not kayak fishing. Like the way we're rigging boats, you know what I mean? You're just in a smaller boat.
Yeah.
But it's still a kayak.
Still more convenient.
It is. It's a whole lot more
Get
convenient.
places you can with those than you can a boat.
Yeah. Well, it's like at one creek we went in when it was real windy. They was trying to catch bait fish to go catfishing.
Yeah.
And it was, we went way in the back of that creek. Well, in the spring, that creek's on fire. And you can't get a bass boat back in there.
No.
Me and James did it years ago with my little bitty 17-foot skeeter. It was a 17 or 16-foot skeeter I had.
Yeah.
And we used a paddle pushing ourselves back there. And then we had to do it all the way back out. You couldn't even use a trolling motor. You're just having to push the boat everywhere with a paddle. And it sucked, man. And if the water was high, so if it's low, you're not going to get no bass boat in there. And the shad are stacked up so tight back in there. The water was just as muddy as it could be. And you could throw a black spinnerbait, Colorado blade, and burn them up, Or throw a jerkbait, real bright jerkbait, they were eating it up. So, I mean, yeah, a kayak is still going to be a kayak in that aspect compared to a bass boat, So, and like I say, river fishing and stuff like that. Granted, my Titan, I'm not going to take on where we go at on the James River. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's bona fide all day long. Yeah. So, but, I've had a lot of questions here recently, too, on my Facebook Messenger and all that, and asking why did we go from bona fide to native and our thoughts and all that. Well, we didn't technically go from bona fide to native. We still run the bona fide, and we still run the native. We just kind of worked our deal out with Big Adventures, so we're able to run both, and it gave us opportunity to build more product, So we worked our deal out with that so we could run both. So what I'm doing is I'm running my Titans on the big lakes and running my bona fide on the rivers and some of the other smaller lakes. It's easier to slide it on in somewhere.
Native's a little bit heavy to carry around.
Yeah, I'm not picking that boat up. I mean, so I see people, do it. But if you do it that way, loading in the truck and this and that, you got to take everything off. Once I rig my my Titan, that it is what it is. So, but Chris, we got any other questions coming through right now?
No, not yet.
All right, guys. Well, we don't have no giveaway for tonight. Like I say, that's my fault with not getting with Ron early enough to make that happen. So we'll work on the next show. I want everybody's opinion though, if you can, in the comments. Do you want to see us doing? We're actually going to try to work on doing dual stream.
Talk about the Titan mount.
Oh, do I not talk about it? I didn't even talk about it, did it? We started talking about it.
I don't think you did.
Oh no. Well, hey, let's pull it up there because I thought we did. So. Thank you, Chris, for that, because that would have been terrible. I didn't talk about that when we just released that mount. So we just released that mount today. It was the 12 for the Titan 12. We have had a lot of questions, like I say, for the 10 and the 13. Oh, I was talking about it earlier. I got on the RS, but we didn't show the picture.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, you got the picture up here now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the bona fide ones are up there with it, but you can see the Titan ones too.
Yep. So there's the Titan one right there I'm looking at. We did that for the Titan, and you actually see the XL keel guard on that too. That's one of our XL keel guards. I did a video not too long ago installing that. That's really nice having that longer keel guard on that boat. But there's the one on the Bonafide. I'm going to tell you what, when it comes to the motor side of things, that's game changer to me. That's bow mount trolling motor on a kayak is game changer to me. Now, like I said, that one's not the GPS spotlight. We can add that to it, but they didn't have one at the time for that. Now, we get a lot of questions right there. You're taking away from the handle. Now, how are you going to load the boat? It's imperative that you get the quick release bracket for your kayak. For one, security. If you're going to stay at a hotel somewhere and you're going to leave that thing parked outside, you don't want to leave that trolling motor sitting on the front of there.
No.
So all you got to do is you bolt that bracket down. You bolt the other piece to your motor, and you just pull this whole pin piece out, and you can take your whole motor off. Unplug it, take your whole motor off. So, but when you take that off of there, we actually cut a handle into that plate, so you can still pick your boat up with the mounting plate. It's a handle made into it. So right there, where pretty much where the M and O and T are, actually the TOR on Motor Guide, you can see right there, it's a handle cut in. So. If you go on our oneobjectivebf.com page and go to trolling motor mounts and go to bow mounts, you'll see a picture we got where James is picking it up right there with it, and it's on the Slayer. But it's the same way. It's made in that. Now on the Bonafides, we're using the handle, and we actually provide longer bolts in your handle. You're still using that to mount your your stuff to the boat. So
And John wants to know: does the Crescent have to have a motor mount with that back flattened out?
the Crescent,
Yeah.
I would if it, and we're working on something for the Crescent. A lot of people has asked us about that if we forgot about that boat. No, we are working on that boat. We're gonna make a plate that goes on the back. The problem with the Crescent is if you, let's say it's hot outside and you crimp that motor down on there, you're gonna cut circles in the back of that plastic. And if it's a good hot day and that thing is hot, it's gonna be soft. You know what I mean? And I'm scared what's gonna happen is you're gonna cut into circles.
Like a hole saw.
Yeah, I mean it ain't gonna do it immediately, but over time, you know.
Yeah.
And then if you got that motor hanging off the back and it's heavy, and it's just kind of doing this and it's really hot, I'm always worried that's gonna cause issue. Not saying it ain't, and not knocking Crescent boats whatsoever, but we're working on a plate that goes there.
Yeah.
That people will be able to use to mount a motor to their Crescent. So we got some stuff that's going to be coming out for Crescent.
Chad says motor guides are a total game changer. He's ran the Kevin D, Bixby, and the XI is crazy. Spotlight, nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, compared to like Torpedo and all that, and I'm not knocking Torpedo here whatsoever. It is kind of odd to me that they got a brushless motor that's as loud as it is. But when you run that motor right there, and we put it on 1 or 2, 2 and 3 speed is like the perfect speed going down the bank if you're standing up and you're flipping stuff and you want to cover water. You're not going so fast, and you're going at a good, steady, slow pace to where you can cover it. Because I had to look at the bank. I'm like, God darn, I ain't even moving. But you can see it lights up saying that the propeller's moving, you know. And I'm like, man, I'm not even moving. But then all of a sudden you pay attention, you're just creeping.
Yeah.
And you can just flip. I mean, you can fish so much stuff like that. It's more hands free to me. And the thing about the bow mount, and I like a bow mount. I mean, not a bow mount, the stern mount, is you got to have your feet to operate it, or if you got a stick steer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want to stand up and use a stick steer trying to steer that thing. It's not me. I don't want to flip the boat. What I'm worried about on the bow mount is if you put spot lock on, you're standing up and that thing makes crazy corrections. You're like, what?
Next thing you know, you'll be out in the water.
Yeah. So if I do that and I'm sitting on a point somewhere, I'll probably be sitting down. You know what I mean? So, but also what is I really like about the bow mount is the ability that you can run a transducer on the front. And so when you're sitting down like drop shot, and I love using 2D when I drop shot, and I can sit in my seat and the length of my rod is going to fall right there beside that transducer. Now the only bad part is it's hard to take your motor off because you know what I mean? Like your cabling and all that stuff.
They don't make a connection at the transducer itself.
Yeah. So you would have to either make it to where you unplug it there and your whole cable would come off and you just tidy it up on the edge of the boat somewhere and run it nice and neat, or I don't know, you know. And that's something I'm going to work on my Titan here because I want to have my transducer on the front. That's what I want, but I just got to see if it's going to be worth going through the headache.
Do they make an extension cable for transducers?
Not because they're already so long anyway.
I'd say you had the wire that comes off the transducer, you could just wire, coil that up and then just have another wire coming from the depth finder.
You could, yeah.
And make them connect right there in the front hatch, but I guess that's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, they might. I don't know. I'm not saying they don't, but, I mean, they could.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, I mean, you think they would. I mean, on some of these boats that are like 20 foot, or
like
30 foot,
like
ocean boats and stuff.
Ocean boats and stuff. They got to have something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they do have something like that. They might. I had to check into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I want. I want to have a transducer on the front. Yeah. And then that way, everything is right there. You're seeing it on your graph as you're starting to go over it, not like on the tripod on the boat, which is fine. It was convenient on the Bonafide because you can take that whole thing out when you're done. But when you're seeing it, it's already back here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not unless you're just sitting there and it's kind of going under you. But with the 2D being on the front, I'll be able to come up on a ball of bait fish or fish schooling and drop shot on them because that's what I love doing at Smith. So, but that's going to be the biggest game changer for me. But what I always just kind of got off of is just how quiet that motor is. That's a brushless motor and it is quiet, and it's a 55 pounds of thrust. And
is that the highest they have?
Now you can go into like XI5s and stuff and get into, you're going to get more into your 24 and 36 volt.
Oh, yeah.
stuff, which we actually were talking of, before that was actually getting a 24 volt and buying a 24 volt Bino. But man,
It's a lot of money.
that is a lot of money. So, but I think we're going to go with the 100 amp battery. You heard what I said. I seen you looking. So we're probably going to go with a 100 amp on the 55.
Chad says you should look at the wireless pedal. The remote is easy to foot control, even better than total hands free.
So you talking about the controller that hangs around your neck? If that's what he's talking about.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what we use.
The remote is easy, but foot control is even better, total hands free.
So it is.
They make a foot pedal for it, apparently.
Oh yeah, I could. Oh man, that would be awesome.
Wireless foot pedal.
Yeah. Now that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially like in a Titan, you got a little more room. Now if you like some of these smaller boats, it might not have as much room. That would be really awesome to look into that because you could stand and just kind of point where you want. Now, I know what I'm going to do though. I'm going to throw myself out of that.
Yeah, you're going to hit that thing wide open.
Yeah, I mean, I was bad enough on a bass boat sometimes. You know what I mean? That thing would cut on you. Like, God dang. I have gone out the front of a bass boat before doing something stupid like that. So, but
I don't know much about spot lock, but can you like set a course with a spot lock? Just like say if I wanted to go from here to here.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Okay.
Yeah. So let's just say, for instance, I put it
like
in
autopilot for it on an airplane.
Yeah. So you can actually go. Let's say we work a trail. We go. I was reading up on this the other day. So say you work a trail pre-fishing, and you go down a cove and you're just fishing. You can set that as your trail, and you can run that exact same path the following day. Now, if you get somewhere you want to stop, you can stop, and then you can go resume path. Or let's say you're going, you put in a state park and you want to go to Turtle Head Island.
Yeah.
And, you can just put your trail for that, go to it, and you go right to it. And you can, do tackle, eat your sandwich, eat your Pop-Tart, whatever.
Slim Jim.
Yeah, Slim Jim time.
Randy Savage Slim Jim.
Did you eat that big,
I didn't buy one. I just saw it in there. I thought about buying one, but I didn't buy one.
Oh, you didn't buy it?
No.
Oh, man. That was a meat stick right there.
Yeah, it was.
That was it the size of a quarter? You think it was big around as a quarter or was it a little bit smaller?
Yeah, about the size of that. Yeah.
Good gosh almighty.
Chad says they have them for the XI, the 130-ish online, Amazon, and Bass Pro.
The foot pedal?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking
and
about?
the pedal does spot lock and heading lock.
I'll have to look into that because I think that would be key right there. Because if you're standing up, let's say you're trying to back out of a spot and you got a fish on and you're having to hit the button to move out, you can just hit that button with your foot. I think that right there would be key there. So, but yeah, there it is, man. There's the Titan mount. Pre-ordered, shipping September 16th. We're just getting geared up. We started. I really want to thank everybody that did all the pre-orders for the native Slayer. For the 127, the Slayer, and the 107, it was phenomenal. The support we had with those mounts. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I was like, this is, I think it's going to sell good. I think it's going to be good. But it was above my expectations of what I thought it was going to be. So it was phenomenal. I'm hoping the Titans turn out that well. And then, we're going to be gearing up and moving on into once we finish up everything for Bonafide and Titan, we're going to start moving into Hobies. Maybe Hobies, but Old Towns. Yeah. We've gotten a lot of requests for Old Town stuff. Yeah. So
another popular boat.
Yeah, it's another well-built, popular boat. So we're going to be moving into some of these other brands. We're trying to reach out to different brands. Like we got our Jackson plate. Guys that got Jackson kayaks, they can now mount our mounts to their boats. We got the Vibe. The Vibe motor mounts are starting to pick up. I mean, it's awesome how well that's picking up. It started out slow, because there's so many. It's several other companies that are in the trolling motor industry, mount industry, and they kind of had a staple in the Vibe community. You know what I mean? So it's a tough world, man. Breaking out in the kayak fishing industry. So, but we're getting there. And we couldn't have done it without all our great supporters, customers, and family. So I really appreciate that. But Chris, we got anything else we want to talk about? I feel like we've covered everything tonight.
We've done everything we wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to cover everything I could with transitional fish, and if you feel like I didn't cover enough or need to go further in depth, let me know in the comments below. that way we can, try to help people more with that. So I'm looking, Chris, I don't know. Do you think by our next one we can kind of work into some of this dual stream stuff, and that way we're working Facebook and YouTube?
We can try.
Yeah, we can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
We can't guarantee anything will work. I think we just run into some technical issues with Facebook side of things
Facebook wants you to have a gaming channel.
when you do dual stream.
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, I wonder. I could probably just switch our channel over to a gaming channel. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I switched it from a bit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you want to do that. So we'll have to figure it out. But anyways, we're going to work into dual streaming. Guys, did you like having this on YouTube? I mean, is it easier for you guys to have it on YouTube? Or is it, do you like it better on Facebook? I don't know. I don't know which route, to go on that. But what's that question come in there?
Great work, guys. Still working on getting your mount for my 127. Just spec a new custom trailer for the coming season. Working on selling my old one. Talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, David.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. Looking forward to it. David, we need to get some time together and go out and fishing together, man, all of us. And, look forward to taking a trip out with you. And good luck working at Bob's. I did it. Great working for Bob. And I'm going to tell you what, man, you are exhausted when you get out of there by the end of the day. It is crazy busy, So good luck with that. But what's everybody saying? Fine either way.
Yeah, John says fine either way.
Yeah, so I think we're going to work in a dual stream, see what we can do. There's also a thing on there. I don't like asking nobody for money or nothing like that, but there is a thing on there, Super Chat. It's just a way to kind of help support the podcast here. So if you ever feel like you got a buck you want to hand out, it all goes to just buying more software and getting the show even better. So, but don't ever feel obligated. I'm not asking nobody to give money away, but that just helps support the show. So, and then it just, helping with giveaways. That's kind of what we do, too.
Surprised we didn't see our old YouTube regular Bass Cat Little Dave.
Bass Cat Little Dave. Yeah, we didn't see him.
I don't know who he is in real life, so he might be.
We met him down at the Classic.
He may be on Facebook. He just uses his real name on there.
Yeah, well, he was mainly our YouTube guy.
Yeah.
When we did it on YouTube all the time, that's how we picked up Bass Cat Dave. And we met him down at Gunnersville when they did the Classic last year.
Yeah.
Or earlier this year, shall I say. And finally got to meet him. Really nice guy. It was great to talk to him. I mean, we've talked to him. He shared a lot of our videos with other forums and all that. Just like I say, really great guy, really great person to talk to. So, and who knows? You never know. We might hear something. He comments on a video every once in a while here. So hopefully he
so I don't know his real name, so we don't know if he's watching on Facebook or not.
Yeah. So, but anyways, guys, I want to thank all y'all for tuning in tonight. It's been great being able to get on here and talk with you guys. I really appreciate all the subscribers that we've had. We went from 0 to 4,000 in a couple years. I know some guys grow quicker than that. We just never put the effort into growing it, as we have in the last, I'll say, 2 years. So to all the subscribers we've had, I really appreciate it, guys. This show was for you. It really means a lot to be able to get to subscribers that we have now, and I'm hoping our goal was to hit 4,000 this year, and we hit that already. So, I mean, I'm going to go on a long shot here and love to see us hit 5,000 by the end of the year. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could. You never know.
It'd be nice. Yeah,
it'd be really great. So, you guys can share it with your friends and all that. It helps out with getting more subscribers. Also, check out all our sponsors that helped us out with this show. It's been great. So if you don't mind, go check them out. Give them some support. Guys, we'll talk to you later. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and then also if you get into gaming and all that, you can find us on Twitch, which will be Carter Racing 23. And then Chris, what is yours?
Holden G860.
Holden G860. We might do some streaming tomorrow. We don't know. So stay tuned. But anyways, guys, we'll talk to you later. Y'all have a great week. And